Hey folks, Dr. Gerstmar with Aspire Natural Health, checking in as promised. Today is day 7 of the PaleoCleanse. On a personal front, honestly, not much to note. Feeling good, energy's good, been a busy day at work, getting a lot of stuff done, so rolling along nice, completing the first week, 7 days of the 21-day PaleoCleanse. All right, so I wanted to kind of bring together, in a couple of past videos here, we've been talking about detox and cleanse and what is this all about? Is it a bunch of snake oil that alternative providers are trying to foist on people, or is there really something to this whole detox piece, right? So you can go back and watch those other 2 videos, but we've talked a little bit about how our bodies have wonderful detox mechanisms, primarily liver and kidneys, but the whole rest of the body is involved. A toxin is going to be anything that's going to interfere with normal functioning of the body. Some of those are made by our body, but in this case, we're really talking about a lot of the 100,000 man-made chemicals that we've put into the environment in the last 100 years or so. Things like pesticides and herbicides, plastics, various solvents, and other flame retardants, and all sorts of other junk that we've put out there for, good reason in most cases, but a lot of unintended side effects like cancer, autoimmunity, hormone disruption, and other problems. All right, so we're faced with all of that. Again, we have these wonderful detox systems, but they were never designed, never evolved to deal with the sheer volume of stuff that we have nowadays. So we need to help those systems along. So it's helpful here to think about the idea of what's called body burden. That is, let's imagine that we're like a bathtub or a sink, whatever you want to say. You have water flowing in and you have water flowing out. Now, the amount of water that's going to be in that bathtub or that sink is going to be based on how much water is coming in versus how much water is going out. A little bit of water going in, a lot of water going out, nothing builds up in that sink or bathtub, right? A lot of water coming in, little or no water going out, the level is quickly going to rise. The same happens with our body. We can imagine that the water coming in this case, is this toxicity that we're getting from the food that we eat, the air that we breathe, the fluids that we drink, anything we're putting on or in our skin, right, are places where toxicity can enter our body. And the drain going out are these detox pathways and systems. So each of us is born with different strengths or weaknesses based on our genetics and other environmental factors that determine how well we detoxify. Some of us are fantastic detoxifiers. Others of us are like canaries in the coal mine that we can easily become overburdened, develop things like multiple chemical sensitivity and other sicknesses. Now, if we expose anyone to enough toxicity, they're going to get sick, but just because one person can tolerate it and another person can't, it all is explained by that bio-individuality, by the fact that all of our genetics are a little bit different, and hopefully here, it's beginning that now we're able to look into some of the genetics and see where certain people are strong or weak. And that's only going to continue as the years roll by. So the goal of a cleanse here is to reduce the amount of water going in and increase the amount of water going out, or in our case, reduce the amount of toxicity going in, increase the amount of toxicity going out. Now, the difference between these two is the amount of body burden that we have. So if you're a really good detoxifier and your environmental exposure is low, you're going to have a low body burden or amount of water in your bathtub, to use our example that we were talking about earlier, right? On the other side, if you're a poor detoxifier and your environmental exposure is large, you're going to have a really big body burden. So each of us is the reason that we detoxify, the reason that we recommend that people do this on a semi-regular basis is none of us can stop the flow of toxicity into our bodies because we all have to breathe, we all have to drink water, we all have to eat food. Now, we try and pick the cleanest sources that we can, and I'll talk more about that in future days, but all of us are going to have some exposure. And again, we have detox systems not designed to handle this level of exposure, so all of us have some body burden. In fact, if you'd like to take a look at a chilling study that was done, you can check out the Environmental Working Group. That's EWG, Environmental Working Group, EWG.org, and type in body burden. You'll see some studies that were done. There even was a study done on newborns. So they took umbilical cord blood, which is blood from the umbilical cord, right? These babies have never taken a breath of air at that point. They've never eaten a speck of food, drunk a drop of water. And they tested their umbilical cord blood for toxicity and found a whole load of toxic chemicals. So even now, we know that our kids are exposed to this stuff, which, topic for another day, is why I believe that cleanses like this are so critically important in the preconception period, before a woman and a man even decide to have children, even decide to get pregnant. So much of this is very, very important. But the body burden studies tell us that all of this is there. So the goal of a cleanse, to bring this all together and wrap it up for today, is we need to reduce the amount of toxicity coming in. And so we're doing that by skipping 2 of the 3 meals a day and replacing them with a clean protein shake, so that we're reducing that amount of toxicity. Then we're increasing the amount that's flowing out by providing the body with all the nutrients and cofactors that it needs to metabolize and get rid of that toxicity, as well as, in that shake, a variety of herbs and other nutrients to stimulate those pathways to work more and more effectively. All right, so the goal of a cleanse, why are we doing this cleanse? Again, we are exposed to more toxicity than any human being has ever had in the history of the world. Some of us are strong detoxifiers. If our exposure is reasonable, then we probably don't need to do more. But many of us are kind of moderate level detoxifiers or even weak detoxifiers if we're suffering from chronic health problems. And those people are going to need to do some extra stimulation of those detox systems, feeding those pathways and getting some of that stuff out of our bodies so it will stop interfering with the normal function of our bodies. All right, folks, day 7, first 7 days over. It's gone great, feeling good, energy levels are good, and happy to be getting some of this toxicity out of my body. If we can help you, please feel welcome to contact us. At Aspire Natural Health, we focus on people with gut problems, autoimmune diseases, and other hard-to-treat cases. If that's you or someone you know, please feel welcome. Get in touch with us. We'd love to help. All right, folks, that's it for day 7. I will be by tomorrow for day 8. Until then, take care.